How do you use social media as a doctor? This is a question that I hear every week from somebody sort of coming to me and saying, how do I use Instagram? How do I use Facebook? Should I use Twitter? Should I use TikTok? So how do I incorporate social media into my practice marketing? That question, I think you need to take a step back and say, what is the strategy with what I'm doing with my social media? What kind of results do I want to get? And who am I talking to? Because a lot of practices have multiple markets that you're going after, right? You've got patients, obviously, but you also often have referring practices. And each social media can be chosen specifically to work with specific avatars. So how you use social media really starts with your goals. I'm going to suggest that it's probably not the first place I would start. If you're sort of looking at your marketing and saying, there's something broken, I'm not really getting the results that I need here. Social media is not usually, I'm not going to say every single time, but it's not usually the first place that I would start. So just to sort of put social media in its place as a useful tactic within a comprehensive marketing program for a clinic, social media is something that we would tend to focus on after you have your major awareness marketing done. Because if you think about somebody coming to your practice, awareness marketing is things like SEO and paid traffic. You've got people, they're getting aware of your practice. That often doesn't happen with social media. Sometimes, and again, I don't want to say every time, sometimes yes, but often social media is coming further down in the sales process. So somebody's come, they've interacted with your practice, they maybe been on your website, and then they lo and behold, they find your little Instagram icon on your website or your Facebook icon, and they click off and they check out your social media. Alternatively, they've kind of gone through your process, they have gotten to the review stage, for example, of the buying process where they're sort of, they've maybe had a consultation or maybe they've booked a consultation and they're now starting to kind of want more information. They want the social proof. So that's when they go to your social media. So how you use social media depends on how you have framed up the problem of what it is that you want to achieve with it. And what I'm going to suggest is a few things to you. Where you're going to get the most bang for your buck with social media is you've got to put across useful content. You've got to put across content that is what we call value in advance. What I mean by that is that you're not always selling. A lot of clinics make the mistake of constantly selling on social media. So they'll say, I have a May promotion and I get 500 pounds off LASIK and I really want you to come and see my event or my webinar or something that I've got going on. That is okay to do, but really what we're looking to do is do 7 to 9 pieces of content that are sort of educational, informational, fun, real, things that show you as real humans in your practice for every one promotional piece of content. So as a very, very broad rule, I would say that's a good way for you to use social media. Secondarily, what I would do is try to capture your clinic team doing interesting things and your patients doing interesting things. So try to get real people, again, nothing produced, in your clinic, saying nice things about you, getting people to tag and have contests and quizzes and tag other people and bring them into your social media in a fun way. And try to show your brand personality so that it can augment the main powerhouses of your campaign. But I would say as a starting point, that's where you want to look at your social media as something that's adjunct to the main aspects of your lead generation strategy.
So I think one of the things that people often miss about social media is the key word in social media, which is social. That's what makes it different from media that you perhaps go out and purchase or you broadcast. So the social aspect of social media suggests that it's an environment in which conversations happen. And this is one of the biggest challenges that I find, that doctors and surgeons who want to be involved in social media, they want to get the benefits of social media. And what are those benefits? Well, they might get more awareness and they might get a little bit of engagement, and people might visit their website on the back of social media posts. They might even make inquiries through Messenger or other social media channels. If you want to get the benefits of social media, then you've got to be social. What often happens is that people look at the social media and they think the media part, and they start using it like an advertising channel, where they're consistently offering, here, look at what we do here, look at this product, and look at this service, and look how great we are. And even going as far as saying, we hired this new receptionist, isn't she wonderful? Isn't she pretty? Well, look, most people are going to see themselves as the hero of their journey. They're not going to look at you as the hero of their journey, or anything that's going on in your clinic as the hero of their journey. So when you think about it that way, what you want to be doing is talking about customers. You want to be talking about patients, obviously with permission. You want to be giving stories, because stories are interesting as opposed to just advertisements. You want to be inviting conversation. So you want to be a little bit controversial. You want to take a stand on things, and you want to say things that invite commentary. Because if you just go out there and say things that are in any old advertisement, no one's going to comment. So you want people to engage, you want people to comment, and then you need to engage with those comments. You need to respond, and you need to elicit that conversation that social media is all about. So here's the thing. If you are not a citizen of social media, if you like, all right? If you don't spend a lot of time in social media yourself for fun and perhaps for learning, because there's a lot of learning opportunities there too, then I would say you're probably not the best person to run your social media campaign. You could, however, designate somebody who really, really values the conversation. But in order to do that, you got to have trust in that person. So you got to know that they're going to be able to answer and represent you appropriately, but at the same time be fun and be engaging and be conversational. So that's what I would advise to most clients about social media, because look, at the end of the day, if you look at all the analytics properties that we govern, and we manage at least 24, about 2.5% of people that visit a website are coming from social media. So hate to break it to you, but it's not a big deal. However, there can be a standout. That just means that there's an opportunity. Because if you're conversational and if you're engaging with really good content and you're creating and inviting engagement, then you could really be a standout there. And that's a great place to be. Back when you were in school, you had a relatively easy way to ascertain where you stacked up against your peers and colleagues. However, now that you're in a practice setting, it's a little bit tougher to know where you stack up, not only against your ideal, but also against your peers and your colleagues. And that's why we created the Premium Practice Score. And if you'd like to take that test, if you'd like to see where you stand up against the best in the world, or perhaps the best for yourself, you're able now to take that and then see where you stack up.